Welcome to the ManiKaur.tv podcast, where big energy meets big ideas and fearless conversations light the fire. We're talking real stories, real people, and real impact, from trailblazers to everyday legends. This is your space to level up, get loud, and feel unstoppable. So plug in, turn it all the way up, and let's shake things up, because this isn't just a podcast, it's a vibe, it's a tribe, it's a movement. And now, here's your host, Mani Kaur.
3, 2, 1, drop it.
Welcome to the show, Usha. Thank you so much for joining us here today. How are you feeling?
I'm okay, but a bit anxious.
Okay. We did talk about this off air a little bit, didn't we? That, you know, you do suffer from anxieties, and I'm sure we're going to unravel that and unfold that a little bit more within the conversation that we're going to have. But I want to just give an overview, an introduction of you for our viewers and for our listeners. So something that I put together just to give a little bit more of a background of you.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Usha Singh-Das is the author of Breaking Free.
Yep.
Which is that book just there.
Yeah, that's my book, yep.
Yeah. A beautiful and brave book about her journey through trauma, healing and self-discovery. Born and raised in London, she's now using her platform through her blog and book, both named Breaking Free, to start an honest conversation around mental health, motherhood, and breaking generational cycles within the South Asian family. Now, this whole episode is centered on you breaking free from your toxic family, sadly, and from relationships that you've had as well in the past.
Yeah. And
obviously, it's a very sensitive and touchy subject, but it's your truth, it's your experiences.
Yes, my life is the way I was grew up, and the people I was surrounded by just made me the person I am today. And it wasn't happy, but I'm happy. I'm glad it's behind me now.
Yeah. Just to give a little bit more context, I just want to let our viewers and our listeners know of how we actually connected. And the way that I connected with you was through TikTok.
Yes.
It was a post that you had put up, which at that time, it wasn't viral, but now it's super viral.
Yeah, it literally went viral within 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
I posted it, and next thing I know, it was like up to 20K, 30K. And last checked, it was like up to 200K views. So
yeah. And what really drew me to that actual post was, actually I had like two very like emotions which just played on me, because on that post you put up some pictures, and you put one picture and across it you was told I was ugly.
Yep, I was told that most of my life.
And reading that, first of all, honestly, my heart sank first, because I thought, this is, you know, you've only just briefed that. Do you know what I mean? But you're the one who's actually experienced that. You've lived with that. You know what I mean? And to be told that is, I don't know, just it makes me feel really shaky now, even talking about it, because I'm just thinking it's just not a nice feeling. But as I kept on swiping through and learning more about yourself, I thought, okay, then I feel sad for her. I don't want to like make you feel like, you know, the victim and like feel sorry for you in that way. But at the same time, I was so happy that you were just using your courage and your inner strength to now stand your ground and stand up and against, you know, this kind of behavior. Yeah. And the sad thing is that in those messages, you had a lot of supporters underneath that post, but you still had a lot of haters and a lot of trolls and a lot of nasty comments. Yeah. But the way you shut them down, girl.
Thank you.
Bravo. And that's then just made me think, you know what? I want to invite her onto the show, because I just want to show that, do you know what I mean? Look at you now. You're just, you know, you've just shaken off the dust off your shoulders, and you are here standing proud and in your own inner strength and outer strength, and you're shining.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments. No, those trolls were, to be honest, the first time I got the nasty comment, I was like, oh my God. I felt like I was like a teenager again, being bullied. But I thought, I've faced worse things than this. I've faced like bullying from my own family. These are people, they don't know me. So who are they to judge me?
And that's the other horrible part. The fact that as I was reading through, I thought, okay, then maybe you're getting bullied by, when you were younger at
School,
school
in friends,
or
yeah.
external people. But the fact that you were bullied internally
By
at
my own
home,
family.
by your own family,
My own family, yep.
that just, I feel sad like that you had to go through that.
Yeah. But like I said, my experiences make me who I am. And even though it was, I would say, traumatic, and it was heartbreaking growing up like that, it's made me a stronger person now. And it's made me realize how I don't want my own kids to be raised, and the effect of negative words, how can affect a child and their development and the way they see themselves.
Yeah.
It's not just you putting a child down or you're saying them just to, not to hurt their feelings, but I can't explain it.
Belittling them.
Yeah, belittling them. But it's just, most people don't realize the effect it has on the person and how they can hold on to it for a lifetime.
Yeah.
The things I went through and the things I was told, it's like I say, it's one of the reasons I'm an anxious person. I get anxiety because I'm not used to doing new things or putting myself out there. Because I was told to be, just stay in the background. So I'm used to being in the background and so seen but not heard type thing.
Yeah.
So me doing this podcast is a huge step out of my comfort zone.
And I really rate you for it, and I really respect you for coming out and just sharing your story today, because I just can't imagine it's not easy. It's not easy to put yourself out there.
But I've learned you got to put yourself out there if you want to be heard, and my story is worth hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% think that, because I feel like even though, somebody might not have the exact same upbringing as you, but they could be going through something right about now, and they could be dealing with their insecurities. And if they can see how you've been shaped as a person and how you're getting through it, it can help somebody else. And that's the aim of this whole podcast in the first place, anyway, to inspire people.
It's also the aim of my book, because I thought if I can help one person just break free from their own toxic relationship, whether it's with a partner, family, friends, I want to give someone hope that, okay, I've been through it, I've gone through the other end, and I'm happy. I'm successful in my own views. Or basically what success means to me, I'm happy in that sense. I've got a great job, great husband, living my best life now, and I'm happy with that.
And you've got children as well.
And I've got 2 amazing daughters who are absolutely brilliant, smart, beautiful, confident.
And going back to, because I've read the book, remember, as soon as we started talking, I was there I need to read this book because I want to learn more about you as a person. And the fact is that you were told that no one will marry you.
Yeah, I was actually told, by a guy I'm too ugly to date. After I met him, about 10 seconds into meeting him, he literally walked away. I was told by my hubbies, no one's going to marry you because you've got a skin condition. No boy's going to want that. And yeah, I've had an interesting dating life as well as a childhood. So it's all in the book.
Yeah. And now, we were just talking off air about the fact that you have got a really successful career where you're working, and the difference that you've got now is the sense of you feeling more supported and accepted. And you're in that arena now where you're not actually looking for validation from family anymore because you've broken free from that.
Well, I still need validation sometimes, but I'm more confident with who I am. So I may not need the validation all the time, but part of me does go back to that stage where I need validation, but it's more on my terms. I know I've done a good job, and if I get validation, great. If not, then I know I've done a good job myself, and I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah. Usha, you've said that you was quite shy, always afraid of being judged. You'd bite your tongue instead of, saying exactly how you felt. But now you're speaking up, you're standing tall, you're owning your truth.
Yeah.
You're doing it unapologetically. And you've said that it's not about keeping yourself safe. It's about not playing small anymore. And that's where you're at now.
Yeah, that's a stage of my life, because I spent most of my life just being quiet, being the good girl, being the obedient girl who just basically seen and not heard. But now that I've broken free, I just feel like I need to talk. I need to be myself. I need to be bigger, better, bolder than I was, because you only have one life. So why hide in the shadows just be proud of who you are. Just
Yeah.
stand up for yourself. And to be honest, the courage is from my husband and my kids and my in-laws. Because when I first got married, I still was a quiet person. It was my in-laws saying, no, Usha, do this, do that. Oh, you're so great at this. And they've always encouraged me, no matter if I've done my arts and crafts or have a stationery business or just being a mom. My in-laws have just always been my biggest supporters.
Did you find that that was a real big contrast and how to deal with that? Because where you had your family,
Yeah.
which was putting you in a box
Yeah.
and, you know, pushing you out the way. And then you've got your in-law side of the family who are, you know, they can see the potential in you and they're pushing you to be your best version of yourself. How did you cope with that contrast, or how did you react to that?
It was a shock to the system, to be honest, because like I said, my in-laws are the parents I wish I had, because if I had, God knows where I'd be with these at the moment in my life. I would have been probably a millionaire knowing me, because I always was a creative person and I always wanted to write, but it took me 32 years to write this book, when I was actually writing books when I was a teenager. I wrote 2 novels while doing my GCSEs. So over a 2-year period, I wrote 1 entire novel per year. But then my writer would discover saying, oh, just a waste of time, waste of paper. Why are you writing?
Sorry, who would say that?
My parents.
They would say that.
That writing's just a waste of time and you're just wasting paper. Concentrate on your studies, do your GCSEs, do your exams. So my writing just went downhill from the age of 17. I stopped writing at 17, and not until I was about 30, 32, 33, that I actually put pen to paper and actually wrote this book.
Gosh, okay, I'm going to go to this book and I'm going to look at the very second chapter. And what were the early signs of a toxic family environment for you? So basically, let's just go all the way back. And how were you brought up in such a toxic environment?
To be honest, to me, it was just normal family life. Just having like a dad who was basically the boss of the house and everything he said goes. Neither me or my siblings had a say in anything. And my siblings were like much, much older than me.
So was your dad like a very dominant character?
He was very dominant. He was a very loud and very dominant character, definitely. So I knew from a young age that it was either his way or no way.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that's being that the only thing I knew growing up. I just fell into that was my normal routine. So I knew when dad woke up, he needed his coffee from dad, or mom used to make him coffee and tea. And then he would just sit, do his counting money. Money was a big thing for him. Mm-hmm. And it's so the way he was with money made me hate money.
Wow.
I actually hated talking about finance and spending stuff, because in my house, spending was a luxury. Mm-hmm. Most kids go to the corner shop, buy sweets, chocolates. That was just a special treat. It had to be something I must do something really good to be able to be given money to go down to the corner shop to buy chocolates or sweets or drinks for myself.
So I feel like you're saying money over love.
Yes, definitely.
And that's what's made you have that discomfort and have that.
It did for most of my life.
Money.
Most of my life, I was very uncomfortable, with around money. My dad's mentality was buy the basics. Mm-hmm. You don't need to splurge. You don't need to go out. Going to restaurants was complete no.
Yeah, but in all fairness, back in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, most of our parents did have that mentality because, money, they'd worked very hard for it and they were thinking about building our future or, their own future. And they would, you know what I mean? It was, going to McDonald's or going, how we do for our children now, takeouts and stuff. It wasn't the thing.
No,
but
I get that. But having bread, butter and margarine as your main staple in the house, and not even buying subjis or cooking, that is going to the extreme. And that's extreme. That was my family.
Wow.
Apart from, my mom was from India. She was born, raised in India. She came here after having like grown up kids.
So when you say grown up kids, your
My siblings,
they were from
all my siblings were born and raised in India. They moved here when they were either in their early teens to late teens to maybe even early 20s. My oldest brother.
Okay, so there's a massive age gap here.
There's a huge age gap to me and my sister, who's the next oldest. I think about 16, 17 years.
Okay, so you were literally the baby of the family.
I was literally the baby family. I feel like I had 4 sets of parents.
Gosh.
Because my parents obviously were parents, and I had my sister looking out for me. So she would tell me off like a parent does.
Yeah.
And I had 2 brothers who were basically like parents to me, saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that. So I literally grew up like a baby of the family and was pretty, I wouldn't say spoiled, but I felt like more comfortable until I was 8. And my brother got married and I had puppies come into the family.
Now you've got, 6 parents then?
6 parents, yep.
Wow. That feels heavy.
It feels heavy. And especially when you become a bua at the age of like 9 or 10 and you're suddenly told, oh, you should grow up now. You're a bua, you're an aunt, you need to grow up. I mean, who tells like a 9, 10-year-old that to be like an adult? So basically, I was like an aunt, like a caregiver to my nephews, being 9, 10, 11 years old myself.
Yeah.
So
did you kind of feel stripped of yourself? Did you feel a bit jealous because you're saying that first you had the attention and you had the love.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you got sister-in-laws.
And nephews and like babies. And then I admit I was jealous. Suddenly from being the youngest in the family to having younger than me and then put pressure on saying, oh, you got to be more grown up now. You got to look after them and we're looking towards you to like keep an eye on the little babies. It was a bit of pressure and yes, they were jealous. I admit that. But
how were you treated though once, you had the new additions to the family, as in you had your sister-in-laws, because that's when you said it all changed.
Yeah, I was no longer the baby of the family. I had to be grown up. I had to look after them. I had to basically be like a caregiver, sort of, to the point. Like, I remember being about 15, 16 and basically being kept told that, okay, my hubby saying, I'm going out, you keep an eye on the kids.
So you were like the ultimate babysitter as well.
I was pretty much the ultimate babysitter, and it came to the point that my nephews were like, well, you're more of a big sister than anything to us. We don't feel like you're an aunt. You're like our big sister. And they actually introduced me as a big sister at school. Because they felt a bit weird to them, like having an aunt who's only about like 8 years older than them.
Yeah. Sometimes that does cross over in like a lot of families, because, there can be that age gap, and then you have your nieces and nephews. Like most of our parents, they've got their nieces and nephews who are the same age, because obviously...
I've actually got, my mum's nephew is older than me, and he's got a son who's actually older than me.
Yeah.
So I've actually got nephews, my mum's nephew's son who's like my nephew. Anyway. Yeah, basically, mum's family, mum's nephews got kids who's basically, I've got like cousins who are like much, much older than me, and they've got kids, which make it my granddaughter, the whole Indian relationship thing. So it's complicated.
So what was it like with the relationship that your dad had with your siblings and your mom, and what was the dynamics in that area? The
dynamics was, I was basically, like I said, my dad was the boss. Mum was a sort of person, she would basically listen to the loudest voice in the house, which was basically my dad. My dad really, really put my brothers down. Like the entire life, there was like, oh, the boys are like useless and this and that. And my sister was his golden child, because she was exactly like him, business-minded, money-minded. She was given her own business, like an off license in London. She ran it herself. So my dad was proud of her. To a certain point, until she got married.
Okay.
And things basically were, I won't say cozy-ish, but it was okay-ish until, like I said, my siblings got married and I was about 8 or 9 and they moved out. Because that day after that, it was just me, my parents in the house, and then everything fell on me.
Who bullied you? And how did that start?
My puppies. Because like I said, I was 8 years old.
So your brothers and your sisters, they didn't as much. They adored you.
They
when you were
adored me,
younger?
but they didn't stand up for me when their partners were bullying me. Like my sister moved out, so she's been out of the picture for most of my life. It was mainly my brothers and their wives, and there's their wives who were bullying me, and my brothers never took a stand for me, even though because they could see the way the wives were treating me.
So how did they bully you? I know it's difficult. I know it's challenging.
Well, each of them were slightly different in like different ways. My oldest brother's wife, she wanted to use me as a dress-up doll. So in the sense like she was born in India, she lived in a very upper middle class family. She had these old dreams about moving to London and wearing Western wear and all that stuff. She couldn't do it herself because she didn't know, but she would look at me like, oh, I'm going to dress this kid up in like, short skirts and like take all my fashion wishes out on this kid. Mm-hmm. But my dad wouldn't allow it. So she found someone else and then completely ignored me for most of my life.
What do you mean, like found somebody else?
Basically, we had a family friend and they had a daughter and they were much more lenient on their daughter than my parents were with me. So she just latched onto that girl and just take her shopping to buy dresses, skirts, outfits, makeup. Whereas with me, she hardly interacted.
So you just felt like disregarded?
Disregarded. Like, I felt like she was more of a puppy to her than me. And I loved my puppies. Like, I was that kid, I was like, oh my God, I got another person in the house to love me and this like that when they first got married. But suddenly it was like, okay, oldest one doesn't want to know me. And the youngest one was just blatantly just bullying me in the sense that she found every and any excuse to put me down. Like whether I'm losing weight, putting on weight, my skin condition. She always had to make a comment to make me feel bad. And it was like every interaction we had with her.
Did you not ever tell anybody? Like, did you not ever tell like your mom, your dad, or your brothers even to say,
It was happening in front of them. It was literally happening in front of them. My brothers, my mum and my dad could be in the same room. Well, not with my dad. If my dad was there, they wouldn't dare say anything. But my mum would be in the room, my brothers would be in the room, my nephews would be in the room. And then my puppy, the younger one, would always put me down. But it would be one of those slide ways, like saying, like, those backhanded comments where people say where they seem to be nice to you, but they actually are being like disrespectful and bullying.
Yeah.
That was basically her way.
It's not making you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, I remember being in my 20s and like joining a gym and actually losing weight and feeling good. And she was like, oh my God, Usha ji, how have you lost the weight? And she would like make such a big deal out of it. And I'm like, well, I go to the gym and like I work out. And she goes, oh, I could never do that. I love my parathas and this and that. But then when I put on a little bit, she goes, oh my God, you put on so much weight. What happened to going to the gym? And aren't you eating healthy anymore? It was like constant back and forth. She was like, I felt like she was competing with me.
Right.
And she was like my brother's wife. And like, I was literally half her age.
Half her age. But maybe because in the book, you've said that because she didn't have the love and attention.
She didn't have a dad figure. Like my younger puppy, she grew up without a dad. So I'm thinking she wanted a dad figure in my dad, like as in her father-in-law. But my dad it wasn't much of a dad to me, let alone to be her. So she couldn't take it on my dad. So she took her anger out on me by putting me down. Because in her eyes, I was daddy's little girl.
Yeah.
So hurting me would, in her eyes, would hurt him.
Yeah.
But my dad was never bothered. That was a sad thing. It was like basically hurting me for no reason.
So you say that you were bullied for like decades. And how did you cope with that? How did you deal with that struggle? Because it's obviously internal bullying in the house. It's being presented, delivered in front of the family. How did that make you feel? How did you cope?
To be honest, I just went to my own little world. I used to spend as much time as I could by myself and then do things I enjoyed. So whether it was like making mixed cassette tapes for my friends or just drawing or, like I said, writing a book. I used to write a lot, but I spent as much time by myself in my room as I could just to stay away from everybody. Because I know if I go and spend time with my hobbies, I'm going to get comments about my skin or my weight or the way I look or anything.
So when they're making comments about your skin, it's a skin condition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And could they not see past that? Like, because for me, it makes me feel really angry, because I feel like at the end of the day, if you've got nothing good to say, don't say it all.
Exactly, that's my thinking. But to them, they had to pick on something, and my skin was the easiest thing they could pick on. The fact that I was like a really cute, chubby, fair kid growing up, and suddenly when I was like 12, 13, I developed a skin condition, and I just started getting darker and darker. They needed something to pick on, and that was easy. I was the easiest target with my skin.
And you know what infuriates me as well is the fact that, you know, I don't know, don't people have like the fear of God? Do they not have conscious mind? Because I feel like if you know, you always hear this as you're growing up. I certainly did anyway. Treat other people how you want to be treated, because you just never know when the tables might turn, when something might happen to you. Like this body, this beauty, it's designed to change. It could fade. Yeah. You could have an illness all of a sudden. You could hit your menopause and all of a sudden you could lose all your hair, and you could have a skin condition. You could become overweight by having certain medications or something. You could have, you know, a car accident and you could have a disfigurement of your face or your body. Something could happen to you just like that. The creator who created you could destroy you as well.
Exactly, that's what happened with the sister that was bullying me for my condition. Her husband, my brother, developed cirrhosis about 2-3 years after I developed eczema. So his skin condition was 10 times worse than mine was, but yet she couldn't sympathize with me and just carried on bullying me for my skin condition, even though she could see her own husband suffering from his own, from psoriasis.
And that's the horrible thing about like bullies. I just feel like to myself that, you know, just be kind. Like it, you know what I mean? It just makes me feel like that angry, because I'm just thinking there's kindness. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be. I feel like if you're targeting somebody for their appearance or the way that they look or whatever, you're actually hurting their soul. And the soul is what's everlasting. It goes, and it's like you're doing a direct hit to God, because, you know, your soul will carry on and it will go, and you're hurting somebody else's soul just to make yourself feel better. It's like a devilish act to me personally.
The thing was, she was a bit of a hypocrite in the sense that when she first came out, she was very one of those really slender, slim girls. But over the years, she put on a lot of weight. I mean, her skin was fantastic. She had great skin, but she put on a lot of weight. She said she was even a really religious person. She was actually part of the committee in the local mandir. But yet, she was supposed to be God-fearing, but obviously she didn't fear God. In the sense.
Mean, there's so many people that will be able to relate to what you're saying. Even myself, when I was at primary school, I was bullied, even for lots of different things, and it had an effect on me.
But it hits differently when it's your own family. Bullying from other people, from school friends or people you don't know, and the strangers, you can brush up like, oh, they don't know me, who are they to judge? But when your own family bullies you and puts you down at every occasion they can, it hurts 10 times, 100 times worse.
Yeah, definitely. And even in, like, I can say, like, safely for myself that, you know, I wasn't bullied internally by a house, but I can kind of sense exactly how it would make you feel, whether it's in any capacity, whether it's somebody that you know, whether it's somebody that you don't know, or, you know, friends at school, or, you know, people that you are in the workplace. But being bullied is generally, for a person, it's very isolating.
Yeah.
You know, depressing feeling. It makes you question your self-worth. It makes you feel like, you know, you're not valid in so many ways. I mean, you can have somebody very, very close to me. He was bullied when he was very young by his uncles, by his family, for being good looking, being very light-skinned, having green eyes, you know, and he was bullied to the extent where they would sit there and keep taking the piss out of him and making him cry. And he said that basically gave a switch of his character. The fun, bubbly kid, when he was in the presence of the family, he didn't want to be there. Yeah. So he would take himself away and just isolate, because if he was sitting within his siblings or within his uncles or so forth, he knew what was going to come. They're going to turn around and say, oh, you're adopted, you don't belong to this family.
Yeah.
A little 7-year-old kid who's hearing that, that's as far as he can go back, because it was like all the time. And what that did to his self-confidence as he got older was he became the shy boy, where he could have been,
bubbly, strong, outgoing person,
confident. Yeah. And then what was even worse was that as he got into his early teens, because he felt like he was being shut down so much, and because he became the shy guy, he only then could be the confident. And by his own admissions, he felt like he was, the character that he thought he could be when he was drinking.
Yeah.
And then that came a problem, because then that became like an alcohol abusive problem for himself, because, at the end of the day, he just thought that maybe that's what's liked or that's what's wanted. But in actual fact, when he was his true self, when he was sober, that was enough.
Yeah. No, with me, I had a very similar sort of thing. Like, when I was growing up as a very young child, about 4 or 5, I was really fair, really beautiful, quite skinny. Going to India, I used to have people because my dad's from a small village. I used to get people from like 2 towns over coming to see the London girl who's born in the UK and how gaudy she is and how beautiful she is. And suddenly when I developed a skin condition in my teens, those same people were like, oh, I'm going to stay away from her. She's like one of the, no, I won't say untouchable, but like we don't want her, like our family or our kids to get her skin condition. So I've seen both extremes where I've been absolutely adored by someone, and then suddenly those same people are just like, we want to stay away from you. There's something wrong with her, type of thing.
Gosh, I can't even imagine how that must even feel to have that, switch like that on you. I mean, even the same when I was in my early teens, 17, 18, I had really bad acne, really, really bad acne. And how cruel people can actually be, say it straight to your face and like, what's wrong with your face? And, at first you think, why are these people even saying it? Until you actually feel like, fuck you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly
What's wrong with your face?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like some people do not know how to address.
They don't have a filter. They just say what they feel like, and they don't care about who they hurt or what the other person's feeling or what they might be going through mentally.
Yeah. It's just, honestly, it does really aggravate me. Hence why when I, saw your TikTok, it just made me think, oh, this is harsh. This is really, really harsh.
I know. But like I say, as a time growing up, it was just part of my normal life. It was just, I just dealt with it. I kept to myself, became the shy, quiet kid, spent all my time in my bedroom doing whatever I want. I used to be a big music fan, so I used to buy song cassette tapes where I could just listen to music and just be my own little world.
When you went on to university or even school relationships and stuff, did you have any issues with external people, or how did you build on relationships by having?
Primary school was basically just me, a bench, and a book. So I never made any major friends in primary school. But secondary school is where things changed, where I was in a class with and I was in my class in my team room, and I became friends with the 6 other girls. We made our own little group, and that little group was my support system. We laughed, we joked, and that was the only place where I felt like I could be me.
Oh wow! I'm glad that you had that.
Yeah. And those out of the 6 people, 4 of them I'm still friends with. We still WhatsApp each other, and we've got our own little Facebook WhatsApp group. And
so they saw the beauty within.
Yeah, they saw the beauty because even though their family weren't toxic, they could relate to the having old-fashioned parents sort of side of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I said, "Oh, I can't do this," my parents don't like it, they say, "Oh yeah, we get it."
Yeah.
Because our parents would be exactly the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think they realized.
It was that day and age, wasn't it?
It was that day and age. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually realized how bad things were for me, because like I said, for me, that was my daily life. So sharing the whole toxic and being bullied, I never shared with them.
You didn't share?
Not to the extreme as I have in the book, because my friends read this book when I was writing it, and even then it was like, oh my God, Usha, I didn't know that you going through that. Because for them, I just wanted to be a normal girl with normal friends. So I just shared the basic, typical
happy vibes.
Indian family mentality sort of thing, but I wouldn't actually go into the detail.
So essentially what you're saying is that your friends, the external circle, that was your escape from the reality of being bullied at home.
Yeah. They were my support system. And then, like I said, they were just the people I felt most comfortable around and just to be me. So I tried to be the typical schoolgirl, taking part in activities, having friends, having giggles, and just, yeah, basically, I just wanted to be normal. So I didn't tell them like the whole deep side of it, but I kept it lighthearted. Like, why would I burden them?
Oh, see the kindness and the beauty within that just
Thank
shines,
you.
doesn't it? That you kind of suppressed those feelings and dealt with it in your own way. When you went on to university, was that a bit more of a release because were you living at home or not? Or
No, I actually made this decision when I was like doing my GCSEs, like at 12, 14, 15, 16. Like, if I go to uni, I'm moving out because that's the only way I could see like my way of like getting away from this whole toxicity. So when it came time to applying for universities, I didn't apply anywhere in London. I applied to Birmingham and I actually applied to Hertfordshire.
okay,
And
miles
Hertford-
away.
Miles away. So either way, I knew I would have to move out. So in my eye, that was my aim, just to get to uni and just to have that little break from everyone.
But you see, even the fact that you're saying that you did go miles away and you went out, that is a lot of courage and a lot of bravery for somebody who's been isolated
yeah,
and suppressed
exactly.
and made to feel shy, made to feel shit about themselves. You know, you still had that within you that that resilience. That
There was something inside me that I knew things were going to get better. They had to get better because when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up.
yeah.
So I had that in my mind, like, no matter how things are at home and how much my puppies are bullying me, there is going to be an escape for me when I go to uni. I'm going to be away from all these people. I'm not going to have to listen to any of their nonsenses. I can just be me. So that was my aim.
Were they still continuously putting you down while you were at university and while you were at college and everything?
No, because I only came home for the summer holidays.
Wow. You really created that distance.
Summer
Yeah.
and Christmas. But Christmas is like only 2 weeks, so that was fine. It was like the summer holidays were the longer time. But beyond that, I didn't come home.
Did they, like, as most parents would say, come home? Did you get that much?
Honestly, my parents' only thing was to come home for the summer holidays because from October up to April, May, my parents were in India themselves. They were like to spend 6 months in the UK, 6 months in India. So summer holidays were the only time they say, okay, you got to come back because we want to spend time with you. But beyond that, they weren't too bothered. Like I said, my parents I wouldn't say they didn't care, but I was sort of an afterthought. Like, whereas with my siblings, I think when they had my siblings, they were like they were much younger. With me, I definitely know I wasn't planned after about 16 years. So with me, I won't say they put up with me, but like,
You were pushed to a side.
I also pushed aside saying, oh, she'll go out by herself. They didn't like have too much of an input into what I was doing. And they honestly, they didn't know half the things I was up to be honest, in those days.
Because they just didn't take the care or the attention.
They weren't paying attention, and I was left to do what I wanted to my own devices. And I actually enjoyed that.
I'm glad that you took that as a positive and just, went along with it. And
I had to, because if I didn't have that little time to myself or to be alone with myself, I would have gone mad. I would have been severely depressed or much more depressed than I actually was, because I did go through quite a few periods of depression because of this whole thing.
so what do you mean, like you went through depression?
Because like I said, I'm anxious, so all the pressure of like being right and being perfect, it got to me. Especially
Being imperfect.
I had to always be perfect. Never talked back to my mum and dad. Always put my desires down and not ask for anything. And at a certain point, then on top of that, being pushed to pressure of doing GCSEs, because I was about 13, 14 when I had my first episode of depression. Because suddenly it was like, because before, like I said, before all this, my parents were like, oh, do what you want, do in your bedroom, that's fine. But suddenly Exams are coming, you're doing GCSEs, you go study 4 or 5 hours, not 4 or 5 hours, but 2-3 hours every evening. Study.
So why all of a sudden did they turn on the pressure?
Because exams, you know the whole Indian mentality, you go get good grades and stuff like that. So
all of a sudden now they're noticing you.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now they want you to do
Yeah,
well.
they want
in
you to do good
education.
grades, and then you go study and you go pay attention and forget about writing, forget about reading, forget watching movies.
Was that about you, or was that to please society?
To please society. Everything my dad did was for society.
So many people could probably resonate that. Yeah.
Everything. And
Because it's not so much about the child and your desires. It's about, what you're going to say to, Mr. whoever, come on down the road.
I'm thinking it wasn't just for the local UK community. It was much more for the Indian community back home.
You to tell them that she's got flying grades and she's doing amazing. And
Yes. And the biggest way of that she was shown was when I went to India with them. Like, to be honest, my family trips with my parents to India were one of the best memories I have.
Okay.
Because when I was with them in India, that's it. I was the center of the world for both especially my dad. Because he would basically take me out to show me off. Like
show off mentality, like little
Yeah,
trophy.
this is my daughter. She's born in the UK. She's a British citizen.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was under strict instructions, do not speak Hindi. Even though I speak very fluent Hindi. I was also in India. If you talk to relatives or talk to anyone in India, just speak English. Do not pretend you don't know a word of Hindi.
The mentality there.
That's my dad's mentality to the T.
I see the picture you're painting now.
Yeah.
I see a little bit more. It's almost like, was it Amish Puri? Like, that kind of.
Funny thing, my dad actually looked like a Mishpuri. He had the whole bald hair, the denim jacket, denim shirt, the cowboy hat. Like 90% of Mishpuri.
Wow. Yeah, I can visualize it. I can see what you're saying, like, that authoritative, Indian man,
the leather boots
pride.
and denim jeans, the black belt, the cowboy hat, the open top Jeep. That was my dad in India.
Okay. So when he was there, he was and he could his
talk.
presence, he just felt like
He was basically the most popular person in India. Everywhere we went, it was like, Singh Saab this, Singh Saab that, and just like...
So he wanted to keep up that status, He wanted to basically, he's got a trophy family and he's got his finances in order and everything's in order and everyone's under his control.
Yes, pretty much.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Tough love. If there was any part of love, but you didn't feel the love.
That's open to the way you see it.
And the way you felt it. Like I said, in India,
I was the center of their world, and my holidays are honestly the best memories I have with my parents. In the UK, hardly any good memories, but in India, amazing memories. Road trips, because my dad would take me to like my mum's side of the family in Rajasthan, and it was just amazing there.
But then there came a point where you actually had, a breakdown of a relationship with your dad.
Yes. I got married. Simple as that.
Huh?
I got married, and my dad...
Wasn't that a happy thing? Wasn't that a good thing?
It was a good thing. For me, it was a good thing, because
How did you meet your husband?
Oh, that's a story in itself. So
was it arranged or?
No. Pure kismet, pure fate. It all started off with me taking a flight to India with my parents on holiday, and the flight messed up my seating arrangement. So instead of sitting with my mum and dad, I was in a row all by myself with a cute Indian guy next to me on the right. He started chatting me up, and unfortunately, me and him didn't work out, but my now husband was his flatmate / best friend.
Okay.
So
that's the little connect then.
That's a little connection. The plane guy vanished on both of us. So we were both concerned. So we started calling each other saying, have you heard anything? Or have you heard anything? So that's how me and my husband started talking. Okay. And he sort of asked me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I initially said no, because I didn't like him, because he was one of those player types, partying, different girl.
From India?
He was born and raised in India, but he had been in the UK for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So he come from India, so he lived in a room, worked on the work visa and everything. So I met him, and like I said, he wasn't the type of the guy I thought I would be attracted to. 'Cause like I say, he was one of the typical boys, like having party, drinking. But me being a hopeless romantic and it being February, Valentine's Day around the corner, he asked me out and I thought, what the heck? Let me just say yes to a date. At least I'll have a good story out of it and a free meal.
How did you find like building relationships with people when you got such like when you've been bullied so much? Did that impact your way of how you saw relationships or how you wanted to build relationships?
When it came to like people I work with or my friends, I've always been like an honest and open person. I share my life stories and I give my heart out. And that's one of the reasons I've always had a good relationship with people I worked with, whether it's when I work in a bank or my current job or my friends. Outside people absolutely adore me and love me. So I've been told.
It's good to know. And it's good that you're feeling that.
It's just my internal family, my own family was like putting me down.
So now, all of a sudden, you've found your husband who is now, and then you've gone back to your family. And what was that like? Because they were saying, your sister-in-laws were saying that you'll never get married.
Oh, that was a big shock to them. They thought I was never going to get married. And I had in my mind, I had the age of 29. I wanted to be married before I turned 30. That was my aim. So from the age of 22, they started saying, oh, no one's going to marry you. My pubbies tried to set me up with like illegal builders and all that stuff because they thought that's the sort of guy I deserved.
So sad.
That
they would think that that's all
but
enough.
I wouldn't expect anything else from them, to be honest. Like after that time, I knew that's the way they saw me. They wanted to put me down. So in my head, I was like, I'm going to meet a guy on my own. I want to be married by the time before I'm 30, and I'm going to do it on my own terms. And I actually met my husband and I got married, I think a month after I turned 29.
Okay.
And
so your
manifestation works.
Mm-hmm.
Because the biggest other thing was like I had a cousin, not a cousin, but my dad's friend's daughter, who was about 4 or 5 years younger than me. She was getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And she was planning a wedding and everyone was like, oh my God, it's so amazing she got married. But what about you? You are older than her and you're still single. There's no guy in your life.
A lot of people have this pressure, don't they? Like, it's like, there's a certain age you've got to be married by, you've got to have kids by this. There's a whole, like a rule book, in the South Asian community.
Yeah.
And it is starting to shift now. But it was definitely the case.
Yeah. But the thing that shocked most of them was like, I actually got married before that cousin did.
Okay, so
even though she's planning her wedding, she's met a guy, she's got a long engagement. I actually met my husband and got married within 10 months.
You know what? It worked out for you.
It worked out.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah. So
when you were saying that because you got married, that was the breakdown of your relationship with your dad?
Yes. Because before my husband, I was like my dad was my center of my attention, my center of my world. Everything dad wanted, I did. I paid all the bills. I did all the grocery shopping. I looked after them as much as I could. Financially, most of the burden was on me growing up, after my brothers moved out.
So your brothers moved out and you took on all of the responsibilities in the household?
Pretty much.
The whole household, everything,
Apart from cooking and cleaning, anything financial was on me. This is one of the reasons I never actually got into the industry that I went to do uni for, because I did TV production and I wanted to go into the media industry, but you need to build up your CV, build up experience. And I didn't have the luxury of the time to actually do that because I needed to get a job and start earning an income because I had a household to run.
How did that change considering your dad was so financially settled and stable? How was it now all of a sudden he's leaning on you?
Because he was like, my money's mine and your money's mine too. Because anything he saved up, he would save up and spend in India where he had to show off to the community, to show off the whole rich lifestyle. So any money he got from his benefits, his pension or whatever, he kept it for himself. Hardly spent anything in the UK, but spent crazily went back home in India.
Oh God, and just that show-off mentality. Yeah,
that show-off mentality, yeah.
Look at me.
Yep.
I'm a London Vala.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, my dad had the best 4x4 Jeeps. He would change every couple of years. He actually had a big court he built in his hometown.
Did you ever question that and say that,
No.
I'm struggling to provide for you, Mom? I've not been able to pursue my degree or my career because... Did you ever find that
there was
you could
resentment.
reach out to your brothers?
There was resentment, but there wasn't actually me questioning because I was raised not to question my parents. So that mentality was still there, even when I got married. It actually got worse when I got married because then it should have been easier because my husband agreed to move in with me, my mom and dad, so he could help me look after mom and dad. So my husband moved into my parents' house. He cooked, he cleaned, he looked after them like they were his own parents, but the only thing my dad couldn't stand was the fact that I had someone else in my life and I was asking for their opinion instead of asking for my dad's opinion. So if I ever wanted to say, like this, I went through a medical issue where I had to reduce my hours at work. So instead of full-time, I went to go part-time. And instead of talking to my dad about it, I obviously talked to my husband about it because it's going to affect the income in the household. With me and him both working, it was our income that was running the household. So my husband was like, yeah, fine. Take your time, look after your health. I will pick up another job or if need to or do extra shifts. So he's willing to do that. But my parents hated the fact that I was asking my husband things now and not relying on my parents and asking for their opinion.
Yeah.
And my dad couldn't actually say anything to my husband. Because
did he like him?
Initially he did. He thought my husband was a very nice guy, very family orientated and good guy, good family member. But then when he realized that, okay, he's got a bit more control, he's got control of my daughter and I can't control him, that's when the issue started. Because he was no longer the man of the house. There was another man in the house who had almost equal rights to me as my dad did. And my dad just could not stand that.
And that was the breakdown of that relationship?
That was the breakdown, yeah. And the worst thing was my parents did try to bully my husband by saying, my mom would literally be over his shoulder saying, oh, why are you putting this masala in? Or you're putting too much salt in? Or you putting too much this and that?
Old habits?
Old habits, yeah. But my husband was very chilled out in the sense that he would take everything because in his mentality, parents are parents. Whether they tell you off or are mean to you, it's their way of parenting you. That's the way they show their love. So my husband just took it with his stride. But it bugged my parents, that the fact that they couldn't get to him. So the way to get to him was through me.
Yeah.
So they knew if they hurt me, they would hurt him.
The thing is, you've probably had, it seems that, the emotional state, and your husband's a little bit more logical,
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, it'll blow over. It's okay. Take each day as it comes. Whereas if, you're thinking more emotionally.
Yeah.
And, it's hard sometimes because you don't know how to regulate those emotions because you've been through so much.
Yeah.
And you're probably thinking, why is this still happening? And now it's happening to him.
Yeah. No, to be honest, he hid most of it. He didn't let me know when my mom was to pick on his stuff, his cooking. He never told me because he didn't want to stress me out. So he took it. It's only after we moved out and we had built our own little life that he started telling me your mom used to say this to me or say that to me. And at the time I had no idea because he wanted to shield me as much as he could.
Yeah, protect you. Did you talk to your husband about everything that you
my husband knew everything. He could see it.
Did they display that kind of bullying in front of
my puppies tried to. My dad tried to be pushy. My husband saw it all. But he tried to be a shield, but there's only so much he could do without feeling like he's stepping on my family's toes.
Yeah, because he's obviously come from out and living in. So
it was tough, but me and my husband became our biggest support to each other, yeah. And he was the one who was saying, okay, let's go out, let me take you to the movies, let's do this, let's do that. And we would work our romantic life, our dating life, within my family's parameters. So we would only go out in the daytime on a Saturday, spend no more than 2-3 hours out. And
why did you feel restricted? Because
I still felt the pressure of being the caregiver to my parents, because they were in their in their 60s by that time. And I feel that pressure of being the good daughter and being the caregiver and to be there for them if they ever needed me. So I would say to my husband, like, okay, we'll go out, but we'll go to the movies and come back in about 2-3 hours, and never go out in the evening because you never know when mom and dad may need me. And he supported me with that.
Yeah. How long did you live with your parents, and did you enjoy the honeymoon period, or the, you know, that point of a start of a relationship? And
We never had a honeymoon period. It was literally just got married and into normal routine of like looking after my parents and just looking after them and trying to have a bit of a life for ourselves.
did you have like that big wedding and
No.
big fat Indian wedding?
I was the only sibling who didn't have that because the way situation happened, that I had to get married in the UK,
Right.
whereas my siblings all got married in India. And in the UK, my dad didn't have many friends, so there's no point in doing a big lavish wedding when you got hardly anyone to invite.
Right. Okay.
If it was in India, yeah, I would have had the whole big wedding thing, but it was in the UK, nothing of that sort happened.
That would have given your dad even more like the show off, I guess, if you went to India and you
Yes.
got married there, and that
Yeah.
you would, you know, the whole
But-
what he was about, basically.
But to be honest, my wedding is the one thing that I'm still really hurt about, because I grew up with, like every girl does, growing up having the dream of the big wedding. I had my friends get married. I've seen their big lavish weddings. I helped plan a couple of friends' weddings as well. When it came to my own turn, there was no one there for me. Like my friends on the side, but my own family had very little to do with my own wedding. I booked my own mehndi artist, did the mehndi by myself, just me and the mehndi artist. I booked
what do you
my-
mean you didn't have like a Mendy night? Or
No,
a
nothing. Nothing. We had nothing of that. It was literally me calling a mehndi artist, booking her. She came to my house, did my mehndi. That was it. Nobody else was there. Not my parents, not my parbies, not my brothers, not my nephews, no one. Didn't have any of the pre-wedding celebrations. Booked my own registry. And after the registry, we came home and me and my husband bought the pizzas for everyone. No one even paid for the pizzas after our wedding. Booked our own honeymoon to Norwich. Spent a week there. And that was pretty much it.
Why was your big day so downplayed? Why did that play out like that?
Honestly, I really can't. I don't know. I can't explain it. But
Did you not put across your desires that, you know, I want to have this night and I want to have that, you know, like every other girl, like, you know, well, most girls I speak for, you know, we're going to have this, we're going to have this cake arrangement, did you not voice this?
honestly, to be honest, it's such a long time ago. I can't remember if I voiced it or not. But I felt like they should have made an effort.
But nobody else made the effort. And
Nobody made the effort. Nobody even said, "Oh, Shaji, you're getting married. Let's plan this event. Let's do this. Let's host a party or something." Nobody came forward. So I'm like, it all fell on me. So to do my own wedding, which I did.
Oh.
So this is one thing I'm
Makes
still
me
very.
feel-
It actually still makes me cry sometimes when I think
It's
about.
making me feel emotional because I'm just thinking, you know what, we all, as youngsters, you know,
Yeah.
we all dream of that.
Yeah. So
Beautiful
I
day.
wanted, I really want, I'm the typical Bollywood wedding person. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, it's like one of my friends got married and I did her wedding playlist. I was at her house every morning and helped serving the guests. And I was like waiting for my day,
Yeah.
but it never came.
Oh.
No, in that way, it just didn't happen the way I wanted it. And my husband said, "Oh, okay, it didn't happen, but we'll try and do it on our 10th anniversary." But it's not the same. When you get married, you get married. Whether renewing your vows will never be the same.
No.
And I lost out on that because my family didn't have any interest in giving me a decent wedding. Even a half decent wedding would have been good if they had done one or two pre-wedding ceremonies, like a mehndi night or reception.
Yeah.
I would have been happy with that because me and my husband are different religions, so we know we couldn't have the whole theatre and the whole thing.
Yeah. But just to feel like
just
there was effort and there was something special for
even
you.
a reception party would have been fun because I have got Muslim friends who obviously I wouldn't, only families are invited to nikah, but they hosted a big reception party and everybody was invited, including me, my husband.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they didn't even do that.
Oh. I don't know what to say. Just really, that is heartbreaking. That is not nice.
That's
and I can understand why that probably plays in your mind.
I still hold against my family. My parents are like, they felt that being the youngest and the baby of the family, they couldn't give me a wedding.
Yeah. Or they just couldn't just fulfill that dream, even in an inch.
Even a centimeter would have been done for me. Just to get acknowledgement. Okay, Usha is getting married. Let's have a party.
Considering that you're paying the bills, considering you've been living there, considering you're taking care of your parents, considering that you've taken so much shit off your sister-in-laws, you know what I mean?
The only party I had was my engagement, which I paid for. I bought the decorations for my own engagement party, bought the outfits, bought the rings myself. Well, me and my husband bought the rings obviously together, but even my engagement party, which is the one party I did have, was all on my expense.
Oh, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I just think that's just really gutting, that is.
Yeah, but it is where it was.
Yeah. Once you had actually both moved in, and then, as you said, you didn't have the honeymoon period, you just, rotated work life and whatever. And then what happened that turned the switch and, basically that's it. You cut off from at what point did you think, right, that's it, I'm not taking no more shit, I'm cutting off from this?
That came a bit much later, but the start of it was basically me going through a really bad phase. Like, the bullying was really bad with my parents. The whole thing, while my parents pressuring me, putting me down, making me feel down, it hurt 10 times worse. So it really got to me. So I went through a really bad phase of depression. And then my childhood friend was another toxic friend I grew up with. She was pressuring me to like, oh, why aren't you picking my phone call? Why aren't you talking to me when I just needed space? And it came to the point like, my dad, to spite me, one thing about me is me and my sister have never had a fantastic relationship. She's next older than me, but we are opposites like day and night. Whereas I'm very like emotional, kind-hearted, so that she's very business analytical and very money-minded. So we are totally like day and night. Mm-hmm. And even though she's my sister, she always used to make me feel bad about my weight because I was a skinny kid growing up. And then my parents gave me cod liver oil tablets because someone told them, oh, it's good for a child's health. Mm. But with me, it reacted differently in the way that it made me put on like a ton of weight. So when like, I literally put on like, I don't know how much, but I literally doubled in size within like a period of like 3 months because I was on cod liver oil because my parents didn't get a doctor's advice on what vitamins to give a child. Yeah. They gave it to me.
That's really important because you can't just...
Yeah, they did. So I bloated up, and then my sister always used to make fun of me being overweight because I never lost that weight. And so me and my sister never had a good relationship. And then one night, to spite of me, my dad said to basically shouted in the house that I'm going to call your sister back. She's going to move in now. And in my head, something just snapped. So I was like, I'm going through this pressure from my parents. My puppies are bullying me. My toxic friends are toxic. And now I'm going to have my sister on top of that. And I literally broke down into tears, crying my eyes out. I had a nervous breakdown, to say the least. And that's the point my husband says, enough's enough. We're not staying here anymore. He made a decision. He said,
did that traumatic feeling, like, oh my God, if she moves in here now, that's it. It is just going to spiral out.
It's going to get 10 times, 100 times worse. And that just one extra person in that house was enough to break me. Just the thought of having one extra person in the house was enough to break me, who I knew was going to put me down.
And she would have, you've just found your nice little happy spot with your husband and things are, you're understanding what love is.
It wasn't happy. In such the situation was really toxic. Like in my household living, even with me and my husband, it was like, we are our own little bubble of like happiness. Yeah. But everything outside that was just pressure, toxic, and just darkness. Like this is one time where in the morning I had a shower and my back went into spasm. And I literally fell in the bathroom, and my husband had to call the ambulance because I couldn't even get up. My dad was in the front room. He didn't even come up to see if Usha's okay. He sat there, ambulance people came in, took me, literally had to carry me out of the house. My dad never even once came to say, oh, is Usha okay? That's how bad things were in my household at the time.
So were you at a point where you're just not talking to your parents?
Yeah, I wasn't talking to my parents. Any conversation the way was happening was going through my husband. So if I want to say anything to my dad, my husband would go and say him. Or if my dad won't say anything to me, which he hardly did, it would go through my husband, because my husband became that shield.
What, and did you feel that you really felt the need, that's it, I can't talk to my parents anymore, I need to protect my well-being, my mental health? Like,
I wasn't in a state to talk to anyone. I was in such a severe depression. I was literally working on fumes. I was literally going to work, coming home, sitting in my room, just silence. I did have no joy in my life. Didn't want to listen to music, didn't want to read, even though I used to be a passionate reader before this. I was in such a severe depression that I just could not survive. I was like literally cut myself off from everybody. Emotionally, I wasn't available. And even that includes my husband.
complete disconnect, yeah.
Complete disconnect. Because that's the only way I knew how to survive, was like to get through it, is like get through each day one by one. It's basically just put my head down, work, sleep, eat, and start the next day. That was just my routine.
Did you, when you were feeling that you were going down this downward spiral and you could feel that it was burdening you, obviously your body showed it, because you know what I mean? You had the spasm in your back, and sometimes it's telling, isn't it? Your body, how it reacts. But didn't you feel at that point, I need to seek some help. What made you?
No, but did you take it to the point of thing like about Indian people, about therapists and mental health was like a big no. And that was in my family, like, oh, you can't have depression. It's like, so
you're
whole mentality.
You're fully feeling.
I'm fully feeling it.
You're fully feeling it, but it's not being recognised, and there's no awareness around it, and there's no help, and it's probably just brushing you off. Yeah, that you just being Usha.
But that one night, like the day I had that breakdown, my husband says, "Enough's enough. I can't see you like this. We're not going to put up with it." We packed my bags, and even though like my brother's wife was my biggest bully, I knew my brother enough to know that if I called him up saying, "Listen, things are going really bad, I need to get out of it," he would open his door for me. Even though his wife, I knew, didn't like me, hated my guts, I know if I called my brother up, he would be there for me at the time. And that's what happened. I called him up saying, "Listen, me and Dad, I need to leave this house." He goes, "Fine, come and stay with me." So as she moved in with my brother, packed our bags, literally left our bedroom, locked the door, and just walked out. And moved in my brother's house for we're supposed to for a couple of weeks. But even living there was a bit of a nightmare, because my puppy bullying me and saying,
I was going to say, how did it land with her then?
She was all sweet and nice when my brother was there. Because like family helps family to over mentality, and she can't be the bad guy. She can't be the bad guy, because like I say, she's like in the committee members of the mandir, so she had to show her good side. Yeah. But the little nagging things were there. Like she wanted us out of the house. Like she say, "Oh, because you're here, my kids are suffering and they're sleeping in the guest room and you've taken the room," and this. Yeah, it was like constant. Yeah, so you're the underlying like prodding of like, when are you leaving? When are you leaving? Yeah. Or you're not welcome. Yeah, sort of thing. Yeah. So, but we eventually found a really nice, I can't even call it 1-bedroom flat, because there was technically wasn't a bedroom in that, but we found this our own little place in East London. We moved there, and honestly, that was our honeymoon period. Those 6 months there, just me and my husband, enjoying life, going to the movies every weekend, going out for meals, talking, having friends over. Those 6 months was our honeymoon period, and it was bliss. It's amazing. I'm glad you got that. I'm really, really, really glad that you got that. You didn't get the wedding. You didn't get the straight after you got married. But at least you got that, and you 6 months. Those precious moments. And unfortunately, that honeymoon period was very short-lived. It only lasted 6 months, because one morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call from one of my nephews saying Dad had passed away in India. And the perfect day had turned into not so perfect, because that day, like earlier that day, the day previous day, and I found out I was pregnant for the first time.
So like,
Yeah.
bittersweet.
So I spent the morning helping a dog. This is like a random story. Like, I found a random dog in the that morning, and I helped him. I saved him by taking him to the vet because he was on a dual carriageway. And then I went to work, came home, did a pregnancy test, found I was pregnant, went to bed, then woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning with the news that my dad had passed away.
So you didn't even get to just feel the
Joy of
joy of.
And then with the whole, because he passed away in India, we had to go there. So we
In this period of time, you hadn't been talking to your dad or your mom?
No, because what happened is we left around September-ish, and in October my parents went to India on the annual holiday, and it's while they were on holiday that dad passed away. So after the argument, I never spoke to dad. The day I woke, that was the last time I saw him until he died.
How did you feel in that moment that you hearing that he's no longer here and you're going to have to go?
Heartbreaking, because at the end of the day, your dad is your dad. Regardless of the relationship you have, he's your dad. So honestly, I just cried my eyes out. And then we had to go to my brother's house to get the whole visa thing sorted, to get the passports, the tickets and everything done. And unbeknownst to me at that time, I actually ended up, because of that night, I ended up having a miscarriage.
Going in between, like traveling and
traveling, because the thing was, to get the visa you had to have a passport size photo, and I had to I traveled from my brother's house to the local Asda, which is like 20-minute bus ride. I did it about 5-6 times in February in freezing weather without a decent jacket. And I found out later that because of that freezing, basically freezing my butt off, caused me to have a miscarriage. But I didn't find out until about 3 months later that I had a miscarriage because of that.
Oh no, so you thought you were still carrying?
I still thought I was still carrying because my body wouldn't reject the pregnancy. I carried on, went to India, had my dad's funeral thinking I'm pregnant, came back, found out my colleague had passed away at work. Another lady I was really close to, she had passed away 2 weeks after my dad had. And I actually missed her funeral because the whole mentality is like pregnant women don't go to funerals.
Yeah.
So I was the only person from my bank, my team, who didn't attend my colleague's funeral, whereas everybody else went. Next day I had my 12-week scan, and we found that the fetus didn't develop past 5 weeks, which going back was basically the night my dad,
Oh.
And all because my hubby would not wake my brother up to take me to the Asda. He goes, your brother needs to sleep. You and your husband figure out yourself.
I don't even know what to say to that. Does she know? Will she know now, I guess?
She, at the time, I don't think I told I was pregnant, because like I said, I literally just found out a couple of hours ago. I told my husband, but I haven't even told my in-laws I was pregnant. So, and then finding out my dad had passed away, I didn't know how to, I don't think it was the right time to tell her, okay, I'm pregnant. Yeah. And I didn't know I was going to get that cold, because I remember at one point at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning being so cold that my bones were hurting. And my husband trying to warm me up by putting coats on top of me, trying to keep me warm. But unfortunately, until much later, I didn't know the damage had already been done. I already lost my baby.
It's so sad to be like thinking that you're carrying and then you're not. You know, all of us that have ever been pregnant, going for that 12-week scan means so much, because you just want to just see that the baby's okay. I mean, a lot of people, they don't actually tell anyone the news till that 12-week scan, where it feels a little bit more comfortable and confident that, you know, the baby is there and okay. And I think that's always that little frightful part. And then,
the worst thing is my body wouldn't reject the pregnancy. So I had to either take the pill to force a miscarriage, or I could have surgery. And I was in no mental state to actually force myself to go through the tablet route. I thought, let me just have the surgery done, so at least I'm unconscious. They do what they need to be done. But that did mean I needed time off work, which my job was amazing. They said, take all the time you need. But it was that 4 weeks between me having a miscarriage surgery and me going back to work where literally things became so bad that I cut ties with my entire family. My siblings, my mom, just cut ties with everybody.
What happened?
Because one thing my dad did before I got married was put the family home in my name. So me, mom and dad were joint owners. Because my dad was like, okay, this house belongs to Usha. Other kids, they've got their house. They've got the house in India. They got all my money. They've all got my gold, whatever. But I want Usha to have a roof over her head.
Yeah.
Because my other brothers, they both had they bought a house from themselves. They had a rental property as well. So they had 2 houses, whereas I had nothing. And my dad, before I got married, was reliant on me. So he thought the least I can do is give her a house.
Especially when you're paying.
Especially when I'm running the house, I'm pretty much paying the house.
Yeah.
So he put me on the land registry. But after Dad died, my siblings, my puppies especially, wanted that property. So my mom...
So they weren't around to pay the bills when you were living there?
Nope.
But then
never contributed more than 20 pounds in Raksha Bandhan. Beyond that, nothing.
And yet now they want to have...
Now they wanted a share of the house because it's prime property in London, worth more than $500,000 in those back in when it was then.
Mm-hmm.
But the worst thing, they actually used my mum.
Okay, so
because my mum had undiagnosed dementia, so she mentally wasn't there half the time.
Right.
And like I said, I mentioned earlier, my mum was a type of person, she would be with the person with the loudest voice. So my puppy being the loudest voice, she was with her. She was on her side. So my puppy was like, okay, you sell the property, give half to mom, you have other half, and we saw it that way.
So your mom was agreeing with this?
Yep, she was.
But not in the right mental state to make that decision?
No, definitely not in the right mental state, but she did it.
Okay. So you had not... Did you go through court and everything?
Yeah, they took me to court.
Okay.
Obviously, I did a 9-year legal battle with them.
And what was the outcome of that? What happened then?
We settled out of court.
Okay.
We settled out of court, but during that 4-week period, basically, my puppies will come over every single day saying, you need to sell the house because it's for your benefit. We'll have enough to buy a house, to buy a deposit for an apartment. We'll help you with that, but you need to sell the house. And mine was like, okay, I will, but can you please give me this 4 weeks to recover from my surgery?
Oh.
And so after this, we'll discuss it.
So you weren't given no grace to any time,
No, I said I will talk about it, but I never said I was going to sell or give them half, because that's just where I was raised, like, you respect your elders.
Yeah. And
so I was willing to talk about it, but I wanted that 4 weeks just to recover. And my puppies would not give me those 4 weeks. Every single day, I've been told to be on bed rest, but every other day, every day they would come down saying, oh, we're having a family meeting, you gotta come downstairs. So I'm being dragged into this, and it all came ahead. One day, my husband took me out to the movies just to cheer me up, because after a miscarriage, I was really depressed. And we came back, and we noticed things in the house had been moved around. So the curtains were not the way I kept it, and things were folded differently. So I knew someone had been in the house, and the only person with the key was my mum. So
was your mum living with you?
No. After Dad died, Mum wasn't allowed to stay with me. Initially, the plan was when we were at the funeral, was like, okay, Mum's going to spend a couple of days with my oldest brother, then a couple of days with the youngest brother, then a couple of days with me. So she's supposed to rotate. But as soon as we came back to London, the puppy bullied me. She just took Mum in and would not let her stay at my place, no matter how much I asked for. Because after miscarriage, I wanted my mum.
Yeah, you still have that.
But my mum actually said to me, oh, I'll go talk to your puppy about this. I'm asking her, I said, Mum, please spend a couple of days, stay with me, I need you. My mum says to me, oh, I need to talk to your puppy about this.
Like she needs her authority.
Yeah. Because like I said, my mum was pretty much a walkover.
Yeah.
She would go with the loudest voice. My bhabhi was the loudest voice at that time, and so she stayed with her. So my mom never spent any time with me apart from 1 or 2 visits after Dad died. Beyond that, I never saw my mom until she was on her deathbed. Yeah. And like I said, during the 4 week, after the day we noticed someone's in the house, around my bhabhi, I was saying, what the heck is going on? She goes, then my bhabhi starts shouting at me saying, I know you don't want to sell the house, you're just tagging us along for no reason, and this and that. And to be honest, at that point, I just snapped. I had hit my rock bottom, and I was like, who is she to tell me this is my house? Why am I getting bullied? So I literally said 4 words. I said, oh, just shut up. And I just hung up on her. That's my first step of defiance against my family, was me telling my sister to shut up. And I think I should have told her to get lost as well, but told her I hung up on her. And I was like, that's it. I am not selling the house. Put my foot down. Even my husband was like, okay, what happened to you? I'm like, I can't take no more. This has gone too far. I've hit my rock bottom. I can't do this.
How did that feel when you put the phone down and you were like,
oh my God, I felt amazing.
Tell me, I want to know, girl.
Amazing. It was like, oh my God, it was like I found my voice. I was about 32 or 31 at the time. And after being bullied for almost like 25 of those years, I was like, it felt amazing finally telling her what I actually thought.
Mm-hmm.
And just hanging up.
How do you think she probably felt on the other side?
She was in shock.
She must have been gobsmacked.
She was in shock. She wouldn't dare call me back. She got her sons to call me back. And her sons, my nephew, my brother's kids, were telling me, I'm going to come, they're going to come over, they're going to beat me up, they're going to beat my husband up, going to kick us out of the house. I wish my husband goes, fine, you come, I got my baseball bat ready for you.
Oh, gosh.
Because when my husband saw me react like that, he got his confidence to answer back to my family as well. Because
he's probably was just waiting for you.
He's waiting for me because he wanted to keep the peace for my sake.
Yeah.
And the moment I said no to them, he was like, okay, bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm enough for all of you.
Yeah. And he is, oh my gosh, that's such a revelation, yeah.
Yeah.
A point of your life where you're like, right, okay, then that's it now. Enough is enough.
And that same night, we went to the police station, logged a domestic harassment case against them. Mm-hmm. And a week later, we found a solicitor and then went through the whole legal process saying Usha is not going to sell this house.
Good. I'm proud of you for standing your ground, for finding your voice.
Took 9 years, but we were in legal battle for 9 years. Meanwhile, I had a child, I had my eldest daughter, and still with the court case pressure on me. It wasn't a happy childhood, but I tried to make as happy as I could for my daughter. Mm-hmm. And then one day I got a phone call from my sister, 8 o'clock in the evening, saying, Mom's in hospital. She's had a major stroke. She's dying. And if you want to go and see her, I know we had our differences, but I'm going to come with you if you want to go and see Mom for the last time. So we made plans to see Mom. And my daughter was 2 years old, and we went to the hospital. And I found out later that the doctors had given my mom 48 hours to live. Mm-hmm. And it's only after the 48 hours had passed that my sister contacted me. Because my mom was literally hanging on.
So at some point, she probably felt a little bit of a guilt.
Yeah.
They were going to let that pass.
Yeah.
And live with that. But then something probably just clicked inside of her to think, you know what? Let me do right by letting you know. But still, you could have missed that.
I could have. So next day, we went to the hospital. Took my 2-year-old daughter, Manvi there. And my strict instruction to my husband was whatever you do not put my daughter down. Because my brothers are going to be there. My bhabis are going to be there. I'm like, I do not trust my family. I want my daughter. Do not put her down. So my husband carried my daughter everywhere.
What were you fearful of? What did you think would happen?
Honestly,
you just a protection.
Just the motherly
mechanism,
to protect her, because I did not want even the shadow of my puppies or any of my family to fall on my daughter, because she was this innocent little kid and who knew nothing about my side of the family, and I wanted to keep it that way. So the whole motherly instinct just kicked in, saying, keep these toxic people away from my daughter.
And when you're saying that, isn't it just as soon as we have children, we have this massive, like, it's almost like we have horns to protect and to just do
I would
whatever
go
we
against
can
the world
to
for
just,
that kid.
Yeah.
I would have. And
and when you were a child, you don't develop that, do you? But as soon as you become a mom, that's it.
That's it.
You'll go up against the world.
Exactly, I know.
Well, I know this is your story, and your story it's very, very hurtful. But lots of families, especially being grown up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, there is a lot of toxicity within that family dynamic. Like,
might not be as bad as what I was going through, but I think most people with that mentality would have some form of toxic situation. Yeah,
exactly. And there's going to be a lot of people that will be able to relate to yours. I mean, what just came to my mind just now was one of my nieces, my first cousin's daughter. Her nickname. When I think about this now, her nickname, they all, within that family, they all had nicknames.
Yeah.
And they were funny, some were cute, some were funny, some were whatever. Anyway, her nickname was Doo-Doo. So for so many years, we were calling her Doo-Doo, but there's a big, massive age gap. So like I said, she's my niece. So, and they lived all the way down south. So we'd only meet each other here and there. And as we've grown older now, our age gap is closed, if that makes sense. So we're a lot more closer. And my youngest plays with her daughter, and they really get on. About 5 years ago, my cousin was getting married, and we were just all at the wedding, and I said to her, do you know what? Where did your nickname come from? Where did his come from? Where did hers come from? Where did yours come from? And she said to me, well, her grandma, which is my aunt, my bua, had named her Doo-Doo because she just looked like a pile of shit when she was little.
Oh, that's awful.
And when I was there like, wow, that is bad, because even in my phone book, I didn't realise. We just thought it was just a name. But she goes, now carried that for so long. She goes, but I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it. Well, I'm all right with it. And I was just like, well, are you really? Because when I think about it, her, as bad as it is, my boy, it's a generational like cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where basically she bullied her son.
Yeah.
Her son was no good.
Yeah.
Bullied the daughter-in-law, my niece's, my sister-in-law, made her not have a voice. So the fact that you are now then going on to bullying the grandchild, your grandchild, calling them all names, and taking the voice off my brother-in-law, taking the voice off my, my bubby, should I say, and you've gone all the way down to that mentality of having that authority and, being the Cruella, and how it's affected and impacted so many people, to the point where now, like my brother, my cousin, he's like, the mental impact it's had on him is mad, because he's got like a drinking problem now, because he feels that he couldn't stand up against his own mom, for his wife, for his children. And, that beats at him every single day, to the point where like my bubby, like my niece was saying, oh yeah, this used to happen and this used to happen. I was thinking, how cruel, how toxic, how horrible is that? And she hasn't even taken it upon herself to think how it's affected them. Like, till this day, she probably wouldn't even take any accountability. The fact that her son is feeling like he is drinking, and, he's got a problem and he's trying to balance it out. But who created that? Who put that in him? Yeah. Who's made him feel like that? You know what I mean? And there's so many families where it's destroyed. There's damage been done. It's there. It's apparent. Yeah. And then like now with my niece, now with her daughter, she's so overly visual of how that child is around her great-grandmother, because she's there like, I have to keep eyes at the back of my head, because one comment triggers me and I don't want it to ever affect my daughter, and I don't want my daughter to ever feel triggered or to feel bullied or to be put in that place, because they've had to undergo so much abuse even till this day. So it's like, honestly, it's just...
I know. I had a very similar situation. Like after my sister telling me about my mum dying and everything, I let my sister into my life. I'm like, okay, she did a decent thing by telling me, and I would never be able to say bye to my mum if it wasn't her. So I let her into my life and into my daughter's life. So she started come visiting my daughter once every couple of weeks. But then I noticed her saying to my daughter Manvi, say, "Oh, call Mama Moti Mama." And that happened first time she said, I was like, okay, yeah. To call me Fat Mummy, Moti Mummy.
Telling your daughter.
Telling my daughter to call me Moti Mummy. And my daughter was like 2.5 by that age, so she didn't know any better. But first time she did, I thought, okay, I brushed it off. Second time she said, I'm like, nah.
Not having it.
Not having that. So next time my sister called saying, oh, when can I come and see Manvi? I'm like, no, we're busy. She's going after she's going to preschool, or she's going like play club and whatever. So I made excuses, but I never led my daughter around, my sister around my daughter ever again.
Because then you've set your boundaries.
Yeah.
Now. You know your boundaries.
And then soon after that, I fell pregnant again, and I got the opportunity to move to the Midlands. So I literally packed my bags, me and my husband, my daughter, and moved here, and did not tell anyone where I moved. And I've been living my life in the Midlands since then, and it's been much happier.
So now you've moved away from London. You've literally broken free from your entire family.
Yeah.
Is that what you would say is breaking free from, cultural barriers and a toxic family? This is what it feels like, and the guilt as well.
Yeah, this is my breaking free, because the court case did carry on when I moved to the Midlands. It's carried on for another about 4 or 5 years, and it's only in 2022 that it got settled out of court. And after that point is when I actually really broke free, because I closed that chapter behind me and I started living my life on my own terms. I got like a big lump of money from the house I ended up selling in London. Mm-hmm. Bought an auction property in Wolverhampton, did it up, went on Homes Another Hammer because of it, which I actually enjoyed. And then I wrote this book.
Yeah.
And then, what else have I done? I've
had another child.
Well, yeah, Mani was born Gia was born as soon as I moved to the Midlands, because I was 22 weeks pregnant when I moved here. So I had my daughter here, and then lived my life with her. So yeah, after like this whole thing ended, I decided now it's time for me to live my life for myself and my kids. So like I said, I bought an auction property, went on TV, and like I said, wrote this book, and end up getting a really good job in civil service. So I've got a career now that I actually love and I enjoy. And I work with great people, amazing people.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. And my aim in life now is basically not to bring the confidence in my daughters that I never had as a kid.
Yeah. Just not let them be affected.
Just not let them be affected. So
break the cycle.
Definitely break the cycle, yeah.
Which you have.
Yeah.
You've broken that cycle.
Yeah. My daughters are amazing. They're great at school. My oldest is like secondary school and is completely a new person. She's more confident. She's taking part in all activities, after school clubs. And she's a much happier kid than I ever was, which is a huge relief, because my eldest daughter, Manvi, is a mini me. Mm-hmm. Behavior-wise, look-wise, she's exactly what I was like growing up. We've got the same hobbies like she had. She's got the same hobbies I had as a kid: reading, writing, being creative. The only difference is
different parenting. I encourage her. I buy all the books she ever wants. I buy her art supplies. I tell her she's amazing, and I encourage her to do everything. Yeah.
Whereas my parents didn't discourage me from being creative.
Yeah.
And it's making a world of difference the way I'm raising my kids than the way I was raised.
So what would be your ultimate message to other people that are going through this or have gone through this? What would you say to them?
You have the power to break the cycle yourself and build a better life. You just got to put your foot down and to say, enough's enough. I'm not going to take this anymore, and I'm going to build a better life for myself. And you can do it if you've got the right support. And if not, then you can still do it by yourself, which I did. It's a choice, yeah, definitely.
And I'm so glad that you have broken that cycle. I'm so glad that you have
Thank you.
done this.
Yeah.
And, you're breaking free and you're sharing your story, because your resilience, honestly, hats off to you. You should be proud of it. You've built your strength. You're sitting here. You're putting your anxieties to the side.
Yeah.
you standing proud.
Yep, proud of who I am and everything I've achieved and everything I'm going to achieve.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just want to just say massive, massive thank you, okay? Because I know that there's a lot of people that be able to relate to your story and feel empowered.
Thank you. No, that's, like I said, that's the aim of my book, is to empower people, to show them that there is a way out. No matter how bad your life gets, or how down people push you, you can find your way through and you can break free from your past.
Thank you, Usha. Thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank you.
I wish you
pleasure.
all the best for your future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in and watching the ManiKaurTv podcast show. Leave a comment, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe. Catch you all on the next episode.
ਮਨੀ ਕੌਰ ਟੀਵੀ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਨ ਅਤੇ ਦੇਖਣ ਲਈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।